your fans and we care about you and the band. My question is, when you go to record new music, because you do have quote unquote hits, is it hard not to chase past hits when you go into a studio? How does it work for you and the band?
The first advice you get from anybody, I'm sure there's like a million clips of Rick Rubin floating around right now since they just keep popping up in my feed.
Yeah.
Get out of my face, Rick Rubin.
Yeah.
He keeps popping up with these things. Every producer will tell you this. I mean, it's everybody talks about it. Like, you don't walk into the studio to write a hit. You walk in to make good music. Mm-hmm. And that was, I think the first real moment of that was like we got into the studio with Danger Mouse, and you're like, oh my God, we're in the studio with Danger Mouse. And the first thing you learn is like, we're just here to make good music. Like, don't think about that. Yeah, there's some good songs. The best stuff is stuff that you just kind of let happen.
Yeah. When you have something that is a, quote, hit, it's beyond a band. It's beyond the moment, the thing that you made. It goes out into the ether and everybody takes it in. When you see that happen, though, what is that feeling? Or if you're at a car wash or the bank or the grocery store, and it happens outside of the area code that you've been living in with that music, what's it like? What was it like?
Well, I'll tell you, my favorite moment of that was taking my daughter to a movie, and Francis and I go to these movies. That's our thing. Daddy and daughter, we go to the movie together. We went to see something, and the trailer for Peter Rabbit came on. And Feel It Still is the song. And she jumped up. She goes, that's my dad. That's my dad. You're like at the movie theater. I was like, yo, we're in Portland. Like, sit down. Like,
are the other kids thinking, that's your dad? That's Peter Rabbit? Or
Chris Black.
Who's your dad? I'd have so many questions.
Who's your daddy and what does he do? Chris Black Changed My Life. That is the name of the new Portugal the Man album. For those that don't know, that are watching us or listening to us on the radio, who was Chris Black?
So Chris came into our lives through a circle of friends out here. A.G. Rojas, Mike Reagan, all these directors, Aaron Brown, Abtine. It was just this super tight-knit, really fun, funny group of creative people. A.G. was coming to a show one day, and he said, I want to bring my friend Chris. And Chris showed up, and just everybody, like A.G. and Chris together is like, that's the funniest combo I've ever seen. I've gone to so many comedy shows, like, these two are better. And they just always making you laugh. And I think at one point we were just kind of all hanging out, like, can we bottle this up and bring it with us? Come on tour, be our MC. Like, or at first it was DJ. He came to be our DJ. The first time he ever did this with us. I know it's not common for bands to have an MC or even a DJ for that matter, but he was just fun. Like, he's the guy I go to for playlists. I have a funny video. Chris, you got to see this. So he came up with us to DJ an event in Seattle. And just in the middle of that event, started picking up the microphone between songs and was going, can you believe it? We're here together. I can't believe they did it. And he was just hyping us up from just sitting behind us. And from that moment on, it was, please come with us. Like, it changed everything for our band. We're working on Woodstock. It took a long time. Like, we're working with Mike D, and we're out in Malibu. We're doing all these things. Chris is what grounded all of that. He is the one that, like, he came into the bus with us, and everything was just such a lighter feeling. And Chris is that person that we all have in our lives. We all have those people that check you and go, yeah, you're at Rick's studio? Cool. You're not that cool. Like, you're not that tight, dude. That was Chris. And he came with us, and I mean, it was just so much fun being around that type of energy. And he sadly passed a few years ago, and in that moment, coming into everything that happened afterwards, I mean, everything shut down, and you just left us thinking about family and these communities and these people that, like, hold everything together. For that circle of friends, it's Chris, and Chris was that to so many people. The amount of DMs that I get where people say, I used to talk to Chris for like an hour every night. I would hit him up for advice. He's that guy, like you'd hit up for advice. And I'd be sitting there reading this going, I talk to him for an hour a night. How are you talking to this dude that much?
It sounds like he gave you some, I don't know, lead singer confidence, because you started this off with, sometimes I would just look at the drummer the whole time, and then you meet a guy like this who sort of turns you around and says, hey, look at all of this.
Yeah, it's more look at me.
Oh,
And that's what we got a kick out of, because we would just see Chris, and he'd be out there like way late, dabbing, and just to get our audience to dab with him, and he'd be like, that's your audience. That's your audience. Dabbing late. And he would do these things. They were just so fun and so funny. And to me, it was Happy Mondays. It is that, like, you think it's weird to have an MC on stage? Like, have a guy just dancing. Like, I'm just here to have fun. That is Chris. Chris is dude in Dandy Warhols, just shaking the tambourine, man. I'm just here. I just want to put on a vibe.
We're sorry for your loss, and it's great that. So, did his energy not only, of course, inspired the title, but the vibe of the album?
Definitely, it really didn't present itself until we got through everything. I had this injury happen right before everything shut down. I was in the studio. I'm having these, like, my jaw's clicking, and went to the dentist, doctors. It's TMJ. Like, it's pretty common. Everybody deals with this. A few months go by. I'm trying to sing in the studio. I'm in pain, and I'm back home in Alaska for AFN, this conference up there. And just one night, I had this massive pop, and the right side of my jaw broke. The top of the mandible broke, and I just went into this, like, I was just crazy pain, and went in and got x-rayed, and it's not TMJ. When did you break your jaw? I'm like, it was a couple days ago. No, when did you break your jaw? The left side's been broken. And just thinking about a band that's toured forever and 300 shows a year at the beginning, it ground this down to the most jagged. I mean, the left side of my jaw is just like a point. And when the right side broke, we just spent all this time rehabbing. We actually had a record, like, we were getting close to finishing this record. And I think sitting back, and I sat for a year. I mean, still rehabbing it right now, but I couldn't sing. I didn't think I'd ever sing. I thought I was going to die. I mean, I just didn't. I could not see myself living another 10 years. So sitting down to write the album, when I finally came out of it, was I want to write about, like, the things around us and the things that I've seen during this period, and be grateful and be introspective and just think about the people that have lifted us up. We just lived in pods, dude. Like, we just had these, like, crazy little groups that we sat in this whole time. And it felt really special to talk about Chris and also talk about the other people in our lives that have changed our lives. And that is the point of the record, is to hopefully inspire people to think about folks in their life who have changed their lives. And it could be as simple as, like, David Bowie changed my life. He made me want to make music. Mick Ronson changed my life. So that's in honor of Chris.
June 23rd, this album comes out. What are you looking forward to the most about it? Just unveiling it, or just the fact that you've made, 9 records now? 9? Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that hard to believe? I mean, wrapping your head around
9
that.
full-length studio albums. Portugal the Man did it.
Where's your head when you hear that?
I think the thing that's happened is finishing the record. So we went out to Sonic Ranch to finish this album, just like pull it all together. And as we got out there, we started pulling out songs, and we were looking at it, and it was like, there's this flow. Like, we had built this thing that feels. I've always been a sucker for structure. Like, I Motown. Like, can you write a song? Tell me a story in a sentence. That's always been a really just fun thing for me to chase. It's a challenge. It's the best I've ever felt about doing that. I think this is as good as you can do that. For us, it just feels like such a special record. And as soon as it hit the practice space, we started playing it. And it was just, that just kind of works. Oh, that song just kind of works. We've never had this moment in practice where it felt like you wanted to play a whole album and also dig back into like the back catalog. After a song like Feel It Still being so big, you play all these festivals and you have this, you get stuck in this routine of like, oh man, like a lot of these people don't know us. We have to play like these certain songs that you gotta do in 60 minutes. Like you have these limitations. So this summer, I really just wanted to step out and play some really important shows and make them really special for people. Play some old stuff, play the new record, actually like deliver something really powerful at these shows.
I'm inspired by you, everything that you have chatted with us about so far. Radio City Music Hall. Then you got Hollywood Bowl. You got the new album. You're going to play a couple songs for us right here at Alt 98.7. And I think we should pause right there.
Yeah.
And let's watch you guys play some music. Thanks for all the great tunes over the years, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
the story.
Yeah,
the
that was
stories
amazing.
are fantastic. All right.
Thank you.
Portugal the Man, Booker and Stryker.